as the opposition team, we really rejected into this motion today because the motion today is teaching the human for receiving what is the problem that becoming for their life, because they believe that everything is happen in their life is just from the God. So they don't need to be sad or depressed when something happened for their life, because they believe that at the end of the day it all make them happy, make happiness for their life, because it's all are from God. So that's why we really disagree into this motion today. That before I'm going into my justification point, first I will give the rebuttal from for the proposition team justification point. The first, how can they solve their failure if they just accept that problem instead of giving up? Them human don't want to deal with this problem anymore. They will just let the problem was not resolved in the end. And next, about our justification point. The first, why by implementing this narrative it can be worse in the end. Let's see the framing the status quo. When everyone get the problem, they should finish the problem. They should learn what is the problem. They should learn how can they get the problem. And at the end of the day, they will when there is some risky to get the same problem in the end, they will know how to reject the problem at the end of the day. Next, people who have the problems are always taught that to accept the problem and not react too much into the problem. That is according into the narrative today, that this will make the situation worse, because if this happen for a long time, then the ambition to live in the life can be longer. If someone do work will not be as high as desire when people do not implement this narrative today. Indeed, the possibility of this depression is more likely to occur, but look at when someone in failure tries to continue to solve a problem. In the end of the day, they will get a lesson by not accepting the mistake from his action or their work. Instead of accepting, he instead tries to fix and research what went and wrong in their work, and will gain valuable experience in the end. Why is this important? Because by researching what is wrong with our work, we don't have to accept what we have to make a mistake. The person will learn a lesson and will not repeat the same mistakes in the next time, because they will definitely remember the incident when they failed and when they try to get up from the failure. This also exclusive in our side, because it is impossible for people to accept what problems have happened to them. They will try to correct what they have done and try to learn from these mistakes, because they feels that this problem is over. Just accept it. It's better to focus on the next job. This is indeed good, but see if the same problem repeats itself in the future, because they doesn't learn from the mistake in the past. And in the end, the same mistake can be repeated in the present, and in the end, they will feel disappointed because they were made the same mistake, and will eventually stop believing into this narrative today. Even if the proposition says that people who experience failure and accept it can fix the problem and study to causes of problem, and at the end of the day it will be better. However, we do not agree on this, because the person who has received the problem will tend to avoid remembering the problem again, and will try to forget the problem, so that they can really accept the problem happened into him. for them, so that the worst case scenario on proposition side, and the proposition side can be answered again in the end of the day, because of the tendency to avoid the needs and problem they do it will bad for the person's life in the future. Whatever they will be shunned, hated, or even expelled from their area. If this happen, even if someone has a life principle that adheres to this narrative, they will definitely feel torn and appear hypocritical, because they will always think that they accept the problem, but in reality they thought about the problem and felt torn too, because who could stay it if they were shunned and pushed away by the people around them. This is what makes us strongly disagree into this narrative today, because if we implement it in the status quo, in the reality right now, the wider society, in the wider society, because it will damage relation between societies in the end. And we really disagree into this narrative today, because look at the framing in the status quo. When we implement this narrative in the society, when someone get problem or making problem to another people, they will think that maybe it's happened because of it's happened because God make it true, and they will not care, not give care about the problem that they make into other, and other people will think that why these people not feel like they wrong, and sometimes the other people will tell the problem into others, and they will say that this one person doesn't really cares about anyone situation, so they will think like these people are bad people, so they will shame and will cut off the people in the end of the day, and the people who believes in this narrative will get hated by other people in that area. So that's why we really think about if the people principle strongly support into this narrative, but they still have no happiness in the end, because there are no people will like to have a relationship with them, have no friend with them. They will ashamed by the society. So that's why we really think about long term from this narrative today, and we really disagree into this narrative and this motion today. Thank you.